The market is the only place where human nature displays itself in full measure. Fear, greed, pride, hope, and self-deception, all exposed under the relentless pressure of money. It's a battlefield of minds, where your own psychology is both your greatest weapon and your worst enemy. Over the years, I have learned that speculation is not a game of intelligence, but of character. The men who endure, who last beyond the temporary excitements of fortune, are the men who understand risk not in theory, but in blood, sweat, and experience. I've seen bright men, far more intelligent than I, go broke because they never learned that survival, not brilliance, is the first rule of this business. The market rewards those who can remain in the game when others have been forced to leave it. And survival comes from one thing: managing risk. Let me speak plainly. These are not theories from books or slogans for the ambitious. They are scars. They are the lessons I bought with my own money, lost through my own mistakes, and learned through the hardest teacher in existence, the market itself. Let's begin with the first rule. Always protect your capital. Your capital is your lifeblood. Without it, you're finished. Every trade, every idea, every strategy must begin with this question: if I'm wrong, how much can I lose? That question is the foundation of survival. Most traders think only about what they can make, never what they can lose. They treat the market like a gold mine when it's more like a minefield. The professional operator never assumes safety. He assumes danger and plans accordingly. Capital is the ammunition that keeps you alive long enough to catch the next great move. Lose it, and you lose your future. Second rule: never add to a losing position. This rule has destroyed more men than any crash. It's the oldest and most seductive lie in speculation, the belief that you can lower your average price and somehow turn a bad trade good. You tell yourself you're being patient, that the market will turn, that you'll get even. But getting even is not a strategy, it's a death wish. When a trade goes against you, the market is telling you something. It's whispering, "You're wrong." The wise trader listens. The stubborn trader argues. The argument always ends the same way in loss. Third rule: cut your losses quickly and without emotion. The best traders are surgeons. They cut fast and clean. A small loss is a scratch. A large loss is an infection that can take your whole arm. Most people let their small losses grow because they cannot admit they were wrong. Pride has no place in the market. The man who refuses to take a small loss will one day be forced to take a big one. I've watched men stare at their screens in disbelief, hoping for a reversal, praying for mercy. The market does not grant mercy, it grants results. Cut it, move on, and preserve your strength for the next opportunity. Fourth rule: let your profits run. This sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest habits to develop. Human nature wants to feel smart, and taking a quick profit gives that satisfaction, but the market rarely pays big rewards for small courage. The large profits come from trends that run longer than you expect. When you catch one, don't interfere. Don't snatch at it like a frightened child guarding a toy. A professional sits still while the amateur fidgets. The real money is made in the waiting, not in the trading. Fifth rule: be patient, not stubborn. Patience means waiting for the right setup, the right alignment of price, volume, and timing. Stubbornness means refusing to change your mind when the evidence changes. Patience is strength, stubbornness is suicide. The market rewards patience with opportunity and punishes stubbornness with ruin. Learn to wait without boredom and act without hesitation. When the moment comes, you must strike with precision, but only then. Sixth rule: trade only when the odds are clearly in your favor. You don't have to trade every day. You don't have to be in the market all the time. The fool is busy. The wise are selective. The market offers thousands of moves, but only a handful worth taking. I made most of my fortunes from a few decisive trades, not a constant flurry of activity. The amateurs believe they must always be doing something. They mistake motion for progress. True progress in speculation comes from restraint. Wait until the tape speaks clearly. When it does, act with conviction. Seventh rule: always know your risk before entering a trade. This rule is absolute. Before you place a single order, you must define your risk. Ask yourself, Where am I wrong? How much will I lose if I am wrong? If you cannot answer those questions, you have no business trading. The market doesn't punish ignorance immediately, but it always punishes it eventually. Define your risk, set your stop, and never move it farther from danger. To move a stop backward is to move yourself closer to disaster. 8th rule: never let a winning trade turn into a loss. This is one of the cruelest lessons of all. You capture a profit, you feel vindicated, and then you decide to let it breathe. The market breathes all right, it exhales your gain and inhales your pride. When a trade has moved significantly in your favor, raise your stop to protect profits. It doesn't matter if you leave some money on the table. The goal is not perfection, it's preservation. You can't lose what you've locked in. 9th rule: avoid leverage until you've earned the right to use it. Leverage is a double-edged sword, an intoxicating promise, and a silent killer. It multiplies gains, yes, but it multiplies mistakes far faster. Most traders destroy themselves with borrowed money long before they ever learn to trade properly. If you can't make consistent profits on a modest account, leverage will only accelerate your ruin. Master control first. Power without control is always fatal. And the 10th rule: keep your mind clear and your ego small. This, above all, separates the survivors from the fallen. When you make money, you'll be tempted to believe you've found the secret. You'll feel untouchable, as if you've conquered the market itself. That's the precise moment the market begins its revenge. Success breeds overconfidence, and overconfidence blinds you to risk. A clear mind is humble, watchful, and aware of its own fallibility. Never believe the market owes you anything. It doesn't. The moment you think it does, it takes it back with interest. Each of these rules was written in the fire of experience. I didn't learn them from other men. I learned them from loss. Every broken rule came with a cost, and every cost was higher than I expected. I once made millions in a single swing and lost it all because I ignored my own principles. I thought my previous success gave me immunity, but there are no favorites in the market. It treats everyone the same by the laws of probability and emotion. Risk management is not a set of restrictions. It's the only path to freedom. When you know your risk, you are free to act without fear. When you don't, every decision is haunted by uncertainty. The market is chaos, but within that chaos lies rhythm and logic. The man who manages his risk can stay calm amidst the noise. The man who doesn't will be drowned by it. I remember times when I sat on cash for months, doing nothing. People called me timid. They said I'd lost my touch. But I was waiting, watching the tape for clarity. When it came, I acted decisively. That patience, that restraint was the real skill. Risk management is not only about cutting losses, it's about waiting for high-quality opportunities and preserving yourself for them. The irony is that most traders know these rules. They've read them in books, heard them in seminars, repeated them like prayers, yet they fail to follow them. Why? Because discipline cannot be learned from words, it must be forged in action. The hardest thing in speculation isn't understanding, it's consistency. You must live these rules until they become instinct, until every part of your being rejects recklessness the way the body rejects poison. There was a time when I made more money than I ever dreamed of. I had the world's attention, the press called me brilliant, and people begged for my secrets. I could feel pride creeping in. The market, silent and patient, waited for my arrogance to ripen. Then it struck. I violated my own risk controls, held on to losing positions, and justified it with my past success. Within months, my fortune vanished. That was the hardest lesson of all, that the market doesn't remember your past victories. Every trade begins at zero. Every position demands respect. The moment you relax, you invite destruction. That's why discipline must be renewed daily. Risk management isn't a task you complete, it's a lifestyle you maintain. In every great bull market, the same pattern unfolds. The few who understand risk rise steadily. The crowd, drunk on optimism, throws caution to the wind. They believe the good times will never end. They forget that prices can fall much faster than they rise. When the collapse comes, the unprepared are washed away. Those who survive are the ones who respected risk when everyone else ignored it. I've seen it too many times to doubt it. The operator who lasts through panic and boom alike is the one who never forgets that markets can change character without warning. Risk isn't an event, it's a constant. The crowd treats it like a storm that passes. The professional treats it like gravity, always present, always acting. So how do you train yourself to follow these rules? You start by understanding that the market doesn't owe you clarity. You owe yourself preparation. You plan every trade before you make it. You write down your stop, your target, your size, and once you've entered, you follow that plan with cold precision. Emotion has no place in execution. Emotion belongs to the losing side of the trade. When the crowd panics, you stay still. When they rush in, you wait. The market runs on the psychology of the many, and your advantage lies in thinking like the few. Every great trader I've known, every survivor of the decades, had one trait in common: the ability to control themselves. Control is the essence of risk management. Control your capital, your position size, your emotions, your ego. When you control yourself, the market cannot destroy you. It may test you, shake you, and humble you, but it cannot take you out. The truth is, trading is simple but not easy. The principles are eternal, but human nature resists them. You'll find yourself tempted to break these rules in moments of greed or fear. You'll justify it, rationalize it, even call it intuition, and sometimes by sheer luck, you'll get away with it. But don't be deceived. The market allows small victories to set the stage for great defeats. The rules exist, not for when things go wrong, but for when they appear to go right. Remember, no man ever went broke taking a small loss, but many went broke refusing to take one. No man ever failed by being cautious with leverage. But countless fortunes vanished under the illusion of invincibility. If you forget everything else, remember this: your first duty as a trader is not to make money, it's to stay in the game. The profits come to those who survive long enough to learn. Risk management is the bridge between ambition and longevity. Without it, all success is temporary. These 10 rules are not magic. They don't guarantee wealth. They guarantee endurance. Follow them, and you may not make millions overnight, but you'll still be standing when the rest are gone. Ignore them, and the market will teach you its own lessons, far harsher and more permanent than words can describe. The market is a mirror, and risk management is how you keep from breaking your reflection. You can't control what it shows you, but you can control how you respond. And in the end, that response, that discipline, is what determines whether you become one of the many who vanish or one of the few who last. Trade with caution. Think with clarity. Protect your capital like your life depends on it, because in this business it does.